Welcome back. Feast Week continues, and David Stockton chomping up some assists last night against Clemson. He had 7, which is a career high. Of course, David Stockton, you know who his famous father is. John Stockton also went to Gonzaga. Fran Fraschilla earlier caught up with Bulldogs head coach Mark Few.
Mark, your team was in a meat grinder game last night against Clemson after 3 relatively easy games to start the year at home. What did you learn about the Zags?
Well, I mean, I think we learned to be able to function and survive in a game like that. I think as you go through a season, as you know, you play a variety of styles and a variety of different schemes, and you got to adjust and adapt and learn how to be successful maybe when plan A and plan B isn't working. You know, we were pretty dang efficient in the second half. We shot 70-something% and ended up doing a nice job defensively.
Part of the reason you were efficient was the play of David Stockton off the bench. Assess his play.
Oh, he's great. I mean, David's a great little pocket passer. He can really make plays in space. He's tough as nails. On the other end, he's kind of a riverboat gambler and willing to take some chances and make some plays, and you're right on spot there. He definitely stepped up and made plays that helped us win that game.
Kelly Olynyk is a guy that missed the first 3 games, but you put him right back into the lineup. He redshirted last year. How do you feel he did last night?
Real good. I mean, I think that first run, it took him a little adjustment to get used to playing under the lights and playing at you know, true game speed. But you know, Kelly's got a great feel. He's one of those 7-foot kids that can really pass, can really shoot, and he's a very good rebounder. So we got to get kind of the mix, the best of both worlds, and not just settle for perimeter stuff.
And finally, what do you expect tonight from Oklahoma?
Well, Oklahoma's tough. I think they're a very underrated team right now. Just incredible athleticism out there. That run and jump is looks formidable, at least on tape, with the way they run and jump and rotate the spots. So we're going to have to handle that, but stay in attack mode. I didn't think we did a great job of staying in attack mode last night. I'd like to see us attack it and see if we can't get this thing going up and down a little bit.
Thanks, Mark.
You bet, Fran.
So it's Oklahoma and Gonzaga coming up next. Duke taking on VCU right now. The Rams up 8-5. Tyler Thornton with the steal to Ryan Kelly. And that's an easy 2 for Duke. They're down 1.
Both VCU and Duke essentially handled their opponents yesterday, beating Minnesota and Memphis respectively. This is a high-level March-like game down in the Bahamas in late November.
Off the miss, Duke coming the other way. Quinn Cook with a rebound to Mason Plumlee, the big fella.
He was phenomenal, Todd. Remember last night?
Yeah.
Double-double.
Career high 17 rebounds. I remember it well. And then a long jumper here. Duke leading by 3, but this should be a dogfight all night long for Duke. UCF and Florida. Kenny Boynton. That's a good look at him. First half, Florida up 10. Scotty Wilbukin with the steal. Up to Boykin. And this just isn't fair.
A couple years ago, Central Florida knocked off Florida in Orlando. The difference with this Florida team, they're not letting the teams that shouldn't beat them. They're taking care of business for the teams below them.
And there's Boynton again with the 3 there, and then Casey Prather. Whoa! Gators beat their in-state sort of rival, 79.
It's a one-way rivalry.
What to watch for coming up tonight? Creighton, the 14th ranked team in the country, taking on Wisconsin in the Continental Tire Las Vegas Invitational.
Well, you get a chance to see Doug McDermott, a consensus preseason All-American with Indiana's Cody Zeller, a legit chance to win National Player of the Year honors. This is a player who basically was going to have a hard time playing ever for his father if he'd ever gone to Iowa State. His father gets the job. Remember, he was going to go to Northern Iowa, Doug McDermott, that is. Ends up at Creighton to play for his dad. Loves playing for his father. This is a legitimate, deep March team to keep an eye on.
There are the stats for McDermott, a returning All-American. Kelly Olynyk.
That's not Adam Morrison.
he needs the goatee, the little devil goatee. Olynyk back on the floor. Last night was his debut. Round 2 tonight, coming against the Sooners. Welcome back to Feast Week, and whoa, upset alert. UNC Asheville leading the Wolfpack by 3 at the break.
There's another 20 to play, but as I said earlier, this is a bit of a trap game for NC State because they go to Michigan next week in the ACC Big Ten Challenge, and they're coming off that loss in Puerto Rico to Oklahoma State.
An injury update. What's the latest, Andy, on Tim Hardaway Jr.?
Well, we told you about this injury where he had to leave the Michigan K-State NIT game earlier. I just got word from a Michigan official that says that Tim Hardaway Jr. passed all the concussion tests, will be fine, and actually fly home with the team. That's great news for Michigan, obviously for Tim Hardaway Jr. They will need him next week to play against NC State to knock them off the ACC Big Ten Challenge.
Bob Huggins and West Virginia taking on Davidson in the semis of the Old Spice Classic, late second half. West Virginia down by 6. Matt Humphrey to Murray for the layup.
Hey, all you bracketologists out there, keep an eye on Davidson throughout the course of the season. This team was up 16 on New Mexico, lost that game in the pit. They win against West Virginia here down in Orlando. They will give fits to whoever wins this game between Oklahoma and Gonzaga.
That was a chance to tie it and send it to OT. No good by Twan Staton. That'll do it for us. He's Andy Katz. I'm Todd Grisham. Oklahoma and Gonzaga. Battle of the unbeaten. Who wins this game?
Oh, you put me on the spot. I'm going to say Gonzaga. Another outstanding effort, potentially, from Kelly Olynyk. Second game since he's become eligible.
We'll see you at the half.
You're watching ESPN's Feast Week, presented by Lowe's.
Every night of the Magic Kingdom, the fireworks right there at the castle. And inside HP Fieldhouse, the offensive fireworks will be supplied by the Oklahoma Sooners' Romero Osby, the outstanding forward. Meanwhile, the Gonzaga Bulldogs will counter with a tremendous forward of their own, Elias Harris. It's the Sooners and the Bulldogs, and it comes your way next. Welcome you to the Old Spice Classic. Time for semifinal number 2. Number 17, Gonzaga taking on Oklahoma from the HP Fieldhouse in Lake Buena Vista. All part of Feast Week presented by Lowe's. Earlier today, it was Davidson escaping as they were able to get past West Virginia by 3. Mountaineers had a chance to tie at the buzzer, and they await the winner of this one in our championship game. John Shambi, Fran Fraschilla with you. Gonzaga ranked 17th in the country. In their first game in this tournament, they went up against Clemson, and they had a difficult time.
They really did. Clemson really played great defense. Gonzaga came in, John, averaging 94 points a game. Clemson made it a meat grinder, but Mark Few got something out of it. He learned about his team and their toughness.
Yeah, no doubt. We go one-on-one, and for Oklahoma, they have an outstanding rebounder up front in Romero Osby.
Well, this guy's the leading returning rebounder in the Big 12, and he's giving Lon Kruger a double-double every night. The transfer from Mississippi State is athletic. He's active. He can score from inside. Not a bad shooting touch. For the Zags, the senior, finally, Elias Harris, who's come into his own. He is a guy that does a lot of things for you. Can rebound, can pass the ball, handles it on the break, and occasionally, last year he shot 40% from behind the arc, can make an outside shot.
Stephen Pledger will start for the Sooners. Great shooter. Jalon Hornbeek, Isaiah Cousins, the freshman in the backcourt, Mbai and Osby up front. On the other side, Mark Few got a really big team. In the backcourt, Pangos and Bell gained invaluable experience last year as freshmen. Guy Landry, Eddie, Elias Harris, and Sam Dower gets the start. Yesterday, it was Kelly Olynyk getting the start, and he matched Harris with a team-high 13 points. It is something Mark Few is going to have to navigate as the season goes on, who starts in the front court.
Good test for Oklahoma, starting 2 freshmen as Lon Kruger continues to rebuild the Sooner program.
Lon Kruger, his second year as the head man at Oklahoma, took over last year for Jeff Capel. He's got an interesting group, some young players making their mark, and one of the things about Oklahoma, they have all 5 starters back, and yet only 2 of them are starting. So it gives you an idea that he feels like the talent level has been upgraded, and you got guys that started every game last year, and they're coming off the bench this season. For Mark Few, I mean, you run out of adjectives. His 14th season, he's at 13 straight 20-win seasons, second leading in active winning percentage. Amazing stuff for that program.
And the streak ended last year. There were 11 straight WCC tournament titles. Came to an end when St. Mary's dethroned them, but still got to the second round, the third round of the NCAA tournament before Ohio State knocked them out.
Right there, Pledger off the mark. Eddie couldn't control, but it's out of bounds, and it'll be Gonzaga basketball.
Now, Oklahoma likes to speed the pace up with some full court pressure. they play 10 guys, John, and to your point, they have 165 career starts coming off the bench.
And again, Gonzaga would appear to be a team well suited to handle the pressure. When they made their run yesterday, they basically went small. The three guards, Pango, Stockton, and Bell, all who can run the point.
And they got a size advantage inside as well tonight.
Eddie into the paint. Pango's wide open. And that one out of bounds. It'll stay with Gonzaga.
Early in the season, Oklahoma's rebounding margin is very, very solid. Plus 11 a game, but they're going to be matched against a very physical front line tonight.
Dower backing down, and Dower flips it in over Osby.
One thing Sam Dower has always been able to do is score around the basket.
Right here, the freshman Isaiah Cousins, Mount Vernon, New York. Dower rebounds the M-by miss. Pangos on the move.
Gonzaga doesn't get the credit for being a great transition team, but they are, and partly because Harris can handle the ball off of a rebound.
Eddie jump stop, had it ripped away, and now they get Eddie with the foul, his first.
E. Landry Eddy, the senior from Midland Community College. Actually, he's on the court with one of his best friends tonight, Ahmad Mbaye. Both young men come out of the French national junior team program. They were high school teammates at Stone Ridge Prep, and to my knowledge, it's the first time they're on the court playing against each other in their college careers.
Osby puts it on the floor, and he gets fouled. We'll get that one on Dower. So choppy start to this one. A little less than 2 minutes in, and Gonzaga leading it by a deuce. Winner of this one will play Davidson in a championship game Sunday night. Foul inside. That's going to be on Eddie, and that's going to be his second. And immediately, Kyle Dranginis will check into the game.
This young man's had a good start to his redshirt freshman year. The former Gatorade Player of the Year in Idaho. He's a slasher, good defender.
Cousins working on Bell, tremendous defender.
Good help by Pangos.
Tipped out of bounds, and it'll stay with Oklahoma.
Gonzaga does a really good job of stunting from the weak side. Anybody comes off a screen, looks like they're going to be open. The next defender on the perimeter will stunt and slow that catch down.
Pledger, good look at it. And it'll stay with Oklahoma.
And Oklahoma getting a chance to work on their inbounds underplays right now. It's like a scrimmage.
Pledger's had some opportunities early on. He didn't get a lot of good looks against UTEP as they were playing that triangle in two, and kind of taking him out of the mix. Osby inside. And Dower eventually comes away with it as he fought with Mbaye.
Gonzaga's help defense has been excellent to start this game.
Bell gathering it in. Dranginis. He'll launch. Got it.
Kyle's more of a slasher and a finisher at the rim. really good half-court defense so far, John. You got 5 white jerseys connected.
Out of bounds, Gonzaga basketball. And a substitution is Kelly Olynyk is going to check in. Dower grabs a seat, and there is Olynyk, who made his season debut yesterday. Had 13 points and 3 rebounds. Suspended for the first 3 games by the team. Code of conduct violation. Native of Canada, redshirted last year, and they're very impressed with his development.
Gotten bigger and stronger. Not just a perimeter jump shooter. Stretch 5, stretch 4. And feel like he can really do some damage in the lane this year. Good slip.
Pangos and Olynyk, the 2-man game.
Good pocket pass by Pangos right there. When you play pick and roll defensively, you got to play with all 5 defenders, and that time Oklahoma slow to rotate.
Get a foul on Gary Bell Jr. there.
Take a look now. Watch this. He comes off. There's a little pocket pass. You see there's no crimson jersey anywhere nearby. That's got to be a rotation. You've got to see some red over there. But Kevin Pangos very adept at picking out Kelly Olynyk.
Cousins a good look, and he rattles it home. First points of the game for the Sooners.
He's a young man from Mount Vernon High School we talked about yesterday. The great high school program that's produced a number of great stars, including Ben Gordon.
Bell launches, and he hits.
Now, Gary Bell shot 48% behind the arc last year. You can't give him that easy.
And right there, count the basket. Andrew Fitzgerald checking into the game and making an impact immediately. It's our under 16 timeout. Mark Few trying to get himself to the championship game here at the Old Spice Classic.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Old Spice Champion, the scent that lets you succeed in ways you never smelled possible. And in part by DirecTV. Don't just watch TV, DirecTV. Call 1-800-DIRECTV. And Gildan. We make your favorite activewear, underwear, and socks. Gildan. Every thread counts.
Number 17, Gonzaga, up early 10-5 in our Old Spice Classic semifinal number 2. Part of Feast Week presented by Lowe's. Davidson slipping past West Virginia earlier today. And so Bob McKillop's Wildcats into the championship game on Sunday. And they await the winner of this one. Gonzaga, a hard-fought victory over Clemson. Brad Brownell's team yesterday gave them all they could handle. David Stockton was huge down the stretch. 7 assists, a career high, and all those assists seemed to lead right to layups.
Absolutely. It was a game where there weren't a lot of easy baskets for much of that game, and every one of David Stockton's baskets were baskets that the team did not have to work really hard for. It's more his individual play. He steps into the lineup. Zags John 4-0 in the Old Spice Classic. We remember that back in 2008 when Jeremy Pargo was the MVP.
Yeah, they beat Tennessee in the championship game. That was a loaded field. Georgetown, Tennessee, Gonzaga, Maryland, Michigan State. Siena was here as well. Olynyk pulls down the miss. Yeah, Wichita State was at that tournament.
Now, right now you got 3 freshman guards for Oklahoma, so they're going to get their feet wet. This is a tall test for them.
Harris gathers that pass in. And stepping in, Mbai deflects it. Well, the ACC Big Ten Challenge, it kicks off Tuesday night. Number 16 NC State, number 4 Michigan. That's at 7:30. And then number 1 Indiana against number 9 North Carolina. First meeting since 04. That's 9:30 Eastern. It's all presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Great doubleheader on ESPN. You can also check it out on WatchESPN.com.
NCAA ruled today that Hannah Perea and Peter Jerkin will not be eligible until they complete the 9-game suspension. That came down just a few hours ago. So Indiana won't be at full strength until later on in the season.
The freshman healed off the mark. Olynyk the board. Pangos weaving through traffic, and Dranginis a wide open look. And Harris over the back.
One thing that made John Stockton so good when he played, he had the ability to count numbers, count defenders in front of him. That time Pangos went to the paint to his right, but knew Dranginis was trailing to the left wing and threw that ball back over his shoulder and found him. It's really important for a point guard in transition to have great court awareness and know where the defenders are and where your teammates are.
Dranginis picks up the deflection, and now it's taken away, but they get a foul. And that's going to be on Jalon Hornby. #1 on the freshman. Sam Grooms, the senior, will check in, as will Cameron Clark, the junior.
Lon Kruger plays 10 players, all between about 13 and 25 minutes a game, so they do have a lot of depth. And we mentioned those former starters that still get a lot of quality time. There's that look.
Dranginis finds Olynyk.
It's all because David Stockton got a piece of the deep paint and was able to draw that defense into the lane. The kick out to Dranginis led to the easy dish inside.
Right there, Ray Stein says Oklahoma ball.
See, that penetration by David Stockton sets this easy basket up, because that means the defense has a long closeout. That allows Dranginis to get deep into the paint as well.
Fitzgerald stepped on the sideline. Third turnover on the Sooners. 13:50 to go first half. Zags by 7. John Shambi, Fran Fraschilla, Old Spice Classic semifinal here at HP Fieldhouse from Walt Disney World Resort.
Well, there's a little high-low right there.
Karnowski had the right idea, just wasn't able to execute it. Fitzgerald down. Stockton.
Right now, Oklahoma doing a lot of ball watching on those jump shots.
Karnowski.
Big guy shooting 73%, John, and he got that ball deep.
Field being harassed by Pangos. Clark on the baseline. In and out.
Good ball movement that time. Stockton's always got his head up, and he's not going to give it up until he knows he doesn't have anything.
Karnowski with the smaller Fitzgerald on him. Olynyk. And they get a bump on the floor. Fran, I don't know about for you, but 7.5 into this game, Gonzaga only up 7, but they're getting a lot of good looks. They're just not putting them down. Oklahoma better be careful, because if Gonzaga keeps getting these looks, they're going to knock them down eventually.
There's no question about it, John. They have scoring from every position on the floor.
Well, they come down. Stockton, everybody runs away from him. He gets a wide open look at that. Karnowski, the jump hook that just rattled in and out.
Well, this is one of the best offensive teams in the country because of they can score both inside and out.
Pangos shot deflected. Good defense by Heedle. Does he got a piece?
See, I think you can drive Gonzaga, but you got to move the defense first. Move that ball side to side. See, they don't let you come off that screen because they ice you on the pick and roll. They force it down.
Clark over Olynyk. Oh my goodness, it was halfway down.
Clark's had 2 of those go in and out, John.
Stockton. Pangos is fouled going to the rim.
You talk about bad luck. Oklahoma, the last 2 possessions, those balls by Clark have been in and out. Take a look. This is the second one. This ball is in and just rolls out. And then when you got to get back against the Zags because they will push it.
The freshman Buddy Hield will grab a seat. Freshman from the Bahamas. Got a lot of family here. A couple of brothers, 3 sisters. So Pango's trying to make the second. The sophomore from Canada led the team in scoring and in assists last year.
The tough part for Oklahoma right now is Gonzaga's half-court defense has been really, really good. They are a really good help team. Now they can change now, go a little 1-2-2-3 quarter court. They like to do this.
Cousins being harassed and able to find Clark. Mbai contested. Olynyk the board.
Too much one-on-one. Now if you're OU, you've got to get back in transition.
Karnowski is fouled. Our under 12 timeout. Gonzaga leading this one by 8 early on at the Old Spice Classic.
Todd Grisham here with a studio update for you. NC State trying to bounce back after getting crushed by Oklahoma State. They're not looking too good at home against UNC Asheville, although Richard Howell makes this bucket to tie the game. Right now, though, the Bulldogs leading the Wolfpack by 1. Duke and VCU in a tight one down in the Bahamas, and Kentucky starting to open up their lead against LIU. Brooklyn, that's on ESPN 3.
That's some interesting scores. We'll keep you posted on that Duke game, that NC State game. Our score here, Gonzaga leading by 8. And here at Walt Disney World Resort. Check out the wildest ride in the wilderness. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad at Magic Kingdom Park. It's got you careening through steep mountain passes and in and out of darkened caves on a runaway train. It seems to have a mind of its own. Hold on to your hats as you zip around the winding track right here at the Walt Disney World Resort. Back inside HP Fieldhouse, this magnificent facility, ESPN Wide World of Sports. And right now, Shemek Karnowski and the Gonzaga Bulldogs leading this one. How about the size here? I mean, they're throwing 2 7-footers out at you.
It's amazing.
And 2 skilled 7-footers.
Yes. Now this young man is the one area he's really been deficient at since he's come over from Poland is his free throw shooting. I think 4 for 15 on the season.
Now remember, from a size standpoint, they're without Robert Sacre, who's moved on to the NBA. Olynyk redshirted last year. And Sacre was their post presence last season.
Look for the press right now. Little 3-quarter court. 1-2-2. Call it a nuisance press.
A nuisance press.
Yeah, it's not a high pressure trapping press unless you're just really sloppy with the basketball. Take some time off the clock.
Inside there, and Mbai couldn't convert. Dower down on the deck. They go tie up. Gonzaga basketball.
Well, much like UTEP in the first game, Oklahoma getting point-blank opportunities to score at the rim and hadn't been able to convert. That time Mbai.
I like that, the nuisance press. It's like when your little brother's doing, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you.
Exactly. And you haul off and hit him and pick up a turnover.
There you go. I think we're all familiar with that one. Pass to Olynyk. Stockton tried to feed Dower. It's a turnover. 3rd on the Zags. Oklahoma looking to cut into a 9-point deficit.
Oh, it's a push.
Osby got shoved. That'll be on Olynyk. And his first. Elias Harris is going to check back in. $17 fouls on Gonzaga, 6 on Oklahoma. Osby the front end. Romero Osby, the Big 12's leading returning rebounder, as Fran said, 7.3 a game last year, averaged 13 points.
Nothing flashy about his game. He just gives you a nightly double-double. He's going to get you 10, 11, 12. Get you 10 boards.
Osby, the Mississippi State transfer. Really good on the offensive glass. Good hands by Cousins, and then Stockton turns it over. Pledger. He's had some good looks at it.
Sure has. And he's usually pretty good off the break as well. Pretty good defense right now.
Drain Guinness. And there is Osby ripping down the board, his third.
Right there, good, good.
Embiid needs to look to the weak side on that double team. You throw it back out, same side, you don't really have anything. Weakness of that double team defense is on that weak side.
Osby fouled right there. Well, a trio of quality games on ABC tomorrow. It starts noon Eastern. Michigan and Ohio State, the rivalry, and then Florida State, number 4, number 10. And then the biggie, Notre Dame looking to stay undefeated, number 1 in the country, taking on USC. All part of Showdown Saturday on ABC. Fran Fraschilla, does USC have a chance to knock off Notre Dame?
You know what? In the Coliseum, I think they do. I think they do. That quarterback, Max Wittick's got to play well, but they've got great receivers. Tomorrow's a time management day for me. Got 3 great football games. I got to get to Epcot for a little while. Magic Kingdom. Got to get a workout in. Got to prep for Sunday. It'll be a very busy Saturday for me, John.
Yeah, you got a lot going on.
But I will be in front of the tube for that USC Notre Dame game.
Now, does your wife Meg know all the stuff that you have to get done?
Oh yeah, well, she's a sports fan. She knows. I love it when I tell her I got to watch a game on TV because it's my job.
Mike Hart handling here. And again, a bad pass. If it had been on the mark, Bell would have been able to catch and shoot.
Pretty good defense. Look at this. That was a foul on Bell right there.
You get the calls. Hornbeak went down, and then Bell takes it to the rim and banks it home.
Bell pushed off, got away with it, but the Hornbeak's got to be a little bit stronger. Freshman had an opportunity to get a breakaway layup.
Cousins got it. The freshman buries it.
That time on the double team, Fitzgerald, instead of throwing it out same side, looked weak side, and he found the freshman at the top of the key.
Harris right at the rim, +1.
That's what he does well. He's so versatile at 6'8", 239. He's got the ability to put the ball on the floor. And we talked about him last night. You know, when he was a freshman, he had a couple dunks in big games, and everybody was talking lottery, and he was worried about how many numbers he'd get. But he's become a great teammate, and he's a very, very hard matchup. Can hurt you in so many ways.
Basketball's funny sometimes, the way it works. Just get into a game and stuff happens. I don't know how you go 11.5 minutes in a game, and that's Elias Harris' first shot. Pledger off the mark. Pangos. Bell wide open. And a rebound pulled down by Mbai. Slows it down. Cousins.
Boy, both teams struggling from the perimeter. Good shooters, too.
Ledger with the bounce creates some space and hits.
Gary Bell's wide open again down in this corner.
And they get an offensive foul. Fitzgerald stepped in, and Harris picks up his second. Timeout on the court. Lon Kruger's team down 5.
Todd Grisham here with a studio update. VCU knocked Duke out of the NCAA tournament back in 2007. This is their first meeting since then. Ryan Kelly and won. Blue Devils leading 43-32 in the second. Keith Hornsby, who is the son of Bruce Hornsby, is leading the Bulldogs with 15 points as UNC Asheville leads NC State. Highlights of both these games coming up at the half.
Here at the Old Spice Classic, Gonzaga leading Oklahoma by 5. John Schaumby and Fran Fraschilla with you here courtside. All right, Coach Fran, you taught me a lot. Been around. One of the things you always say to me, look opposite when the ball goes into the post.
Especially when it's double team, because as that ball goes into the post, you're going to see the Gonzaga play a double. Elias Harris is going to cheat over in case that pass comes out same side. Andrew Fitzgerald always catches and looks opposite. He finds his shooter on the weak side. So let's roll the tape and let's show you good offensive execution by Andrew Fitzgerald. Now here comes the pass into the post. Okay, there it is. Now Hart is going to go to double. Harris sees it. He should be coming out to rotate out, but he doesn't. He goes with the cutter. So look at Andrew Fitzgerald's head. Weak side slot. Open shot. Take advantage of the double team because you're 4-on-3 everywhere else on the floor. Find the open man.
So good work there, and Andrew Fitzgerald at the line, the senior who started all 31 games for the Sooners last season. Native of Baltimore, Maryland. Can't hit. Bell the rebound. Gonzaga by 5.
Sam Dower did a great job of posting up, did his work early in the post, but Zag's guards didn't see him. Good pressure by Oklahoma. They've done a nice job defensively, John. They've been a little bit more inept offensively. Otherwise, they've done a really good job. Good rotation out.
Olenek finds Dower, who flips it up and in.
Dower's one of those guys, you wake him up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you shake him a little, and he goes out and gets you 16, 17 points. He knows how to score.
Osby puts it on the deck and it'll roll home. Nice move. Well, one of the things they've done a good job with the Sooners, they've kind of been able to shut down Bell and Pangos so far.
Well, they really have. They have athletic young guards. They switch all the screens. So Bell and Pangos have had trouble getting open. You see another switch. The 3 guards really are equal-sized guys, so you can switch everything.
Pangos rebounds the Olenek miss. And they get an offensive foul. Second on Kelly Olenek.
Landry Eddy picked up 2 quick ones early. He had to sit down. Take a look. Now watch the left arm, the discard. Carl Hess in the center position. He's in perfect sight to see that. And Oklahoma's young guards have done a nice job defensively. Getting good looks, John. Just can't knock him down.
Yep. Pangos losing the handle. Pledger the other way. Grooms, great look, finds Fitzgerald, and Oklahoma within 3.
And in large part, they're climbing back into this because their half-court defense has been outstanding.
Pangos jumper wouldn't go. Stockton fouled on the floor. Take a look at the other end, the way the Sooners are moving the basketball.
Yeah, good job right here. They passed up one shot right there. Grooms, young man who averaged 6 assists a game last year. Former junior college All-American.
Fitzgerald and Grooms, both starters last season, started every game. As Stockton goes to the line, 18 fouls on Oklahoma, 10 on Gonzaga.
David Stockton 1 for 6 from the line coming into tonight. Kind of an aberration a little bit.
Small sample size.
Small sample size. Long season, right? Check back with us in early February.
That's right.
Maybe up around 80%.
He'll have missed 7 by that time, right?
I don't know. You jinxed him.
No, I didn't.
No, I know it.
If you can convince me that's true, I will leave this game and we'll fly to Vegas and live there. Grooms now. Stockton up in the air high for the rebound. Eddie off the window and good.
Sometimes when you sit a guy for a long time with 2 fouls, he's really worthless in the second half. So Mark Few taking a chance, getting him some minutes here before the end of the first half.
Osby right past Karnowski.
That's a smart play by Osby, who's obviously got the quick step on the 300-pounder.
Pangos able to save. Carl Hess was right there, eyeballing the baseline.
Pangos, that's what I call the Gretzky, when you dribble past the basket and then try to make a play.
Nice, I like that.
You know, like Wayne Gretzky used to do. Oklahoma's done a nice job of chasing Pangos off that 3-point line. He still knocks it down.
He can do that. 9 threes in a game against Washington State last year.
Little zone right now by Gonzaga. They got the full arsenal of tricks in their defensive satchel.
Get a foul on Olynyk. That's going to be his 3rd. Breaking the action here at the Old Spice Classic, and a bid for the championship on the line.
Todd Grisham here, coming up on the Land Rover halftime report. Some great action down in the Bahamas. Duke on the floor as we speak, plus a Gopher dropping 40 on Memphis. Highlights coming up. Plus, Morehead State has suspended their head coach, Sean Woods. Andy Katz will weigh in with his thoughts on the severity of the punishment. That's coming up at the break.
All right, Todd, thanks. Semifinals here at the Old Spice Classic. Number 17, Gonzaga leading it by 6. John Shambi, Fran Fraschilla with you. And the Zags obviously playing a West Coast Conference. It's a strong conference, but they also go out of conference and play some tough competition. They match up a lot with the Big 12 this year.
You could say they're associate members, I guess, because they're going to see 5 of the Big 12 teams. They've already beaten West Virginia, Oklahoma tonight. You and I will be together on New Year's Eve in Stillwater, which may wind up being a really good game the way the Cowboys are playing. And Mark Few has never shied away of playing a phenomenal schedule, and it's in part the reason they've been able to build this Zags program to the heights they have it now.
You know, it's funny, Gary Bell Jr., who's a big recruit for them, now a sophomore, but he had offers from Pac-10 schools. And one of the things he said, I saw Gonzaga on TV all the time playing in big games. I mean, that's the reality of it. They have a high profile.
Great.
Yeah, and in part because they play a great schedule.
Great home court now. Of course, the WCC, they've been able to dominate for so many years.
Osby puts it on the deck and couldn't spin it home. He gets bumped by Karnowski. He'll shoot 2.
That's really good recognition. Bob Knight used to talk about when you attack a zone, there's going to be a guy on that back line that you can take advantage of. You put a quick guy against a slow guy. And in this case, they got the ball to Osby right in a position where he's able to drive by the big fella, Karnowski.
Osby has 8 to lead all scorers.
When Osby catches this ball and faces up, he's going to see he's got the advantage right here. Take a look. And now he knows he's got the quickness to get by Karnowski. Karnowski bumps him, and Osby's going to shoot the free throws.
Sooners within 4. See if they can get Harris involved a little bit offensively. He's been really quiet.
Good back cut.
And one. Karnowski will go to the line. So the 7-footer from Poland, a chance at a 3-point play.
David Stockton saw Kevin Pangos back cut. Take a look. And once Pangos gets that ball to the lane, he's able to make a play. It breaks down the Oklahoma defense. And one thing about this big fella, can really finish, John. He's got great hands. Very agile for a guy that's 300 pounds. That's the one area of his game where he suffered.
Zags 3 out of 8 from the line.
Matchup zone now. Shows 2-3, but they'll extend it to where they play man-to-man in the area.
Good steal, Harris. Pangos finds Harris, who had good position. Osby fouls him, and Harris will shoot 2.
Last night I talked about Elias Harris being undersized, but we were talking in terms of the NBA, but this guy's a big load in there. He did a great job of sealing.
Yeah, again, he's a hard to handle because at the college level he can definitely operate near the basket. He'll step out, shot 41% from 3 last year.
How about the way he handled the ball in the break last night? You don't need a point guard. They can just release and go up the floor because Bell, Pangos, and Stockton can all shoot it. So he brings it up as your de facto point guard off of a rebound.
Yeah, had 4 assists in the win over Clemson yesterday.
So even though it's a zone, they're going to shade the Pledger's side.
Karnowski able to pull down the board, gets it to Pangos. 90 seconds to go here, first half. Wow, that's from deep. And inside, Karnowski got shoved. So these two teams playing for a chance to meet Davidson Sunday, 7 Eastern, ESPN2, our Old Spice Classic Championship game. Davidson sneaking past West Virginia by 3. It got close at the end. Jawan Staten with a...
That ball was in.
Yeah.
In and out.
In and out.
Tied it.
3-pointer at the buzzer. So Gonzaga hoping for a win and then a chance to become the first ever 2-time champion of the Old Spice Classic. Won it in 2008. As Tyler Neal checks in, and Osby will grab a seat for Lon Kruger.
Davidson banged up a little bit. No J.P. Kuhlman today.
How about that ankle?
Nick Cochran's been banged up for much of the preseason. I think Tyler Kalinowski sprained his ankle today, but they'll be ready Sunday. Big possession for Oklahoma.
Neal. Pledger trying to save, and he saves it to Stockton. Weaving through traffic. Oh, goodness. David Stockton slithering in there and able to put it up and in. Picks up a steal, and he goes the other way. And Stockton not able to make the layup as he endured some contact.
He tried to get to the body. Watch David Stockton right here. This is really crafty. He's going to go underneath the defender. Watch him weave, and he's going to shoot this ball underneath Isaiah Cousins, and Cousins was thinking he was going to go high on the glass. He just slipped it under.
I thought he got fouled on the other one.
You know what he did? He invited the contact, and they didn't give him the call. That's one he'll usually get.
Right.
But he jumped into the defender. Remember we talked about last night, when you're even, you're leaving? He wouldn't let the defender get around him, but the referee wouldn't reward him for being the initiator of the contact.
.25 to go, 10-point game. Let's see where they go.
High pick and roll.
Pangos into the paint, tosses it up. And out of bounds with .2 left, Gonzaga basketball.
It's got to be a tip at the rim now. It cannot be a catch and shoot. Anything under .3.
It's the Trent Tucker rule.
No, that's not going to count.
So Gonzaga finishes on a 7-1 run. Mark Few's team up by 10 at the break, trying to make their way to the championship game. We send it to the studio, our Land Rover halftime report. Todd Grisham, Andy Katz.
Thank you, gentlemen. Plenty of great highlights to get to, and let's start down at the Battle for Atlantis tournament. Number 5 Duke taking on VCU. VCU, of course, knocking Duke out of the 2007 NCAA tournament on a buzzer beater by Eric Maynor. This is the first time they played since. There's Ryan Kelly with a bucket for Duke, but VCU hanging tough. Rob Brandenburg. And one.
Once again, VCU's defense is keeping them in the game. They've kept Duke on check. 3 for 11 so far on threes. That's how VCU took out Memphis, the way they do it with their perimeter defense. And right now they're causing some problems for the Blue Devils. They will not go away.
Andy Katz is in the cradle. My name is Todd Grisham. Gonzaga.
Cradle, that's a new one.
You like that one? Oklahoma and
a lot of references out there.
Oklahoma and Gonzaga. Your game right now, but let's talk about what happened this morning. Morehead State announcing they've suspended their head coach Sean Woods for 1 game after he pushed and berated his point guard Devin Atkinson on Wednesday night. And here's what Woods had to say. He apologized, saying my behavior during Wednesday night's game was inappropriate and unacceptable. I am truly sorry. I value the opportunity I've been given as the head men's basketball coach at Morehead State. I am passionate about the young men on our team and the opportunities we have together. I care for them deeply. I can assure our student athletes, university community, alumni, and fans that anything approaching this type of situation will not happen again. And your opinion, is 1 game enough?
It's a tough call. I mean, I'm not an athletic director, but something had to happen. First of all, Sean Woods should not have waited until Friday to issue that apology. When I texted back and forth with him on Wednesday night, he said, look, I'm just coaching my team. I'm not going to get into that. He failed in his attempt to really remedy the situation right off the bat. Right after this game against Kentucky, he should have, in the post-game, confronted the reporters and said, look, I was wrong. I shouldn't have behaved like this. Today, we got that statement from him. Now, I talked to a former Mississippi Valley State player who's actually said he's going to play for him at Morehead State next season. Talked to another Mississippi Valley State official and said, this is the way Sean Woods coached last season. The former player said he was okay with it. He got pushed. He got his shirt grabbed, and he was fine with it. He wants to play for him. He wants to figuratively get pushed by Sean Woods yet again, but he crossed the line when he put his hands on him, and he got disciplined for it.
Sean Woods will miss the next game for Morehead State, which is Monday night against Norfolk State. When we come back, apparently it's a working vacation down in the Bahamas for Minnesota's Dre Hollins. 41 points against Memphis. We'll relive the magic when we return.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. And your local Scion dealer. This halftime report is presented by Land Rover. Above and beyond.
All right, how about Minnesota and Memphis? The Tigers trying to bounce back after their loss to VCU, and it was all about one man for the Gophers, Dre Hollins.
phenomenal performance. 41 points, 12 of 16 from the field, 12 of 13 from the line. This team is not at all about Trevor Mbakwe.
Here he is again. Collins, 41 points on the night.
Memphis 0-2 on this trip. Real disastrous performance by Joe Jackson. Tigers going the wrong direction here in late November.
Yeah, the Tigers with back-to-back losses in November for the first time since 0-1.
And they have to play Northern Iowa in the third game. There's a chance Memphis could go 0-3 out of Atlantis.
Josh Pastner would not like to see that. Kansas State taking on Michigan. Tim Hardaway Jr. with a good night, at least playing-wise. He would get hurt, which we'll see momentarily. He finished it between two defenders there. He would have 23 on the game. And here's that moment. Hardaway Jr. knee in the back of the head.
Yes, left the game at this point. Did return, though, for the handshakes at the end of this game. And a Michigan official emailing me late on Friday night saying that all concussion tests were negative. He will be fine. He will be allowed to fly back to Ann Arbor and should be okay for their game next week in the ACC Big Ten Challenge against NC State.
Michigan 5-0 for the first time in 6 years. Ohio State with no trouble against the Kangaroos. UNC Asheville and NC State. This one is very interesting. Richard Howell with the layup. NC State down 2.
We said all day this is a trap game wedged in between their Puerto Rico loss to Oklahoma State and that game next week against Michigan.
Jeremy Atkinson with the jumper. Asheville up by 4. Then Richard Howell down in the paint, getting pulled backwards, still gets it to drop. That would give the Wolfpack the lead, but they're in a dogfight at home. Remember, NC State trying to bounce back from a huge loss against Oklahoma State.
Look, with 5 minutes left, they had 19 turnovers. This is a team that needs to take better care of the basketball overall, and they've had some questionable issues in that position, although Lorenzo Brown actually in this game, he had 5 turnovers. That's a real high number for him. He's considered one of the better point guards in the country.
Kentucky starting to pull away from Brooklyn. Some marquee matchups coming up later this week. Which one jumps out at you?
Well, I'll be really interested to see the NC State-Michigan game. Certainly for NC State to go into Ann Arbor and win, they're going to have to take care of the basketball. No question about that. And Ohio State-Duke, we'll see what happens with Duke and VCU, but the Buckeyes are a true contender in the Big Ten.
This halftime report is presented by Land Rover. Above and beyond. You're watching the Land Rover halftime report.
Some huge games tomorrow, and how about this? Urban Meyer speaking tonight to an alumni association. When he left, the last thing he said was, "Let's beat the blank out of Michigan." He's got a chance at noon. LSU and Arkansas, it's been a disaster of a year for the Hogs. This is basically their bowl game. They're going to finish with a losing record. LSU up 3-0. Great grab by Jarvis Landry. Look at that again. Sensational stuff in the end zone. LSU up 10-0. Last play of the game, Arkansas only down 7. Tyler Wilson going to the end zone, but that is incomplete. LSU still with a shot to make it to the SEC championship game. What to watch for tonight at 10 Eastern, 14th ranked Creighton taking on Wisconsin and the Continental Tire Las Vegas Invitational. It's the first meeting between these teams since 1949.
And a chance to see Doug McDermott, one of the best players in the country, a consensus first-team All-American. They will play, one of those teams will get possibly Arizona State, which is handling Arkansas right now, 77-61.
A scare for the Bearcats just moments ago. Titus Rubel with that jumper. Cincinnati pulls away late.
Keep an eye on the Bearcats. They are a Big East title contender.
West Virginia taking on Davidson in the semis of the Old Spice Classic. Under a minute to go. Nick Cochran down low to Chris Serbowitz for the corner 3. Davidson up 4. It's now a 3-point game. Jawan Staten with a chance to tie it, and he does not.
No rematch for West Virginia, possibly against Gonzaga, after Gonzaga beat him by 34 points to start the season. Kelly Olynyk with the jam. Second game after being suspended for 3 games.
Love that energy. We'll see you coming up after this game.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. And Carfax. Just say, "Show me the Carfax." Ask your dealer or go to Carfax.com. You're watching ESPN's Feast Week, presented by Lowe's.
Back inside HP Fieldhouse as we get ready for the second half of our semifinal game. Gonzaga leading by 10 at the break. John Shelby, Fran Fraschilli here, courtside winner. This one will take on Davidson at our championship game on Sunday. Oklahoma struggled in the first half to score, but a little more efficient down the stretch.
No, Gonzaga as well more efficient, because that's what they do is they have 3 and sometimes 4 ball handlers on the floor. They move the ball efficiently and terrifically because everybody can handle it and make plays for each other. And that's really been a big difference at the end of this first half. Let's take a look now. Let's watch the ball movement by the Zags. Side to side, Gary Bell gets an open shot. Then you'll see a drive by David Stockton. Gets the defense to contract, kicks it out. That spreads them out on the closeouts. The dump down, easy basket. Backdoor cut this time. Watch David Stockton set it up. Backdoor to Pangos. Pangos not going to shoot it. Finds the big fella, Kranowski, inside with the finish, John. When you have 3, 4 guys on your team that are constantly moving the ball, it really helps your offense.
First half stats brought to you by Miller High Life. Big rebounding advantage for Gonzaga as well. Plus 12 off the bench. So the Zags up by 10. It'll be Oklahoma basketball as we start the second half. Here at HP Fieldhouse. Davidson a winner earlier today, beat West Virginia, and they await the winner of this one for our championship. Shot there from Mbai off the mark. He's had a tough couple of games.
He sure has. They set up an ISO for him on Harris, and he was just not able to finish.
Elias Harris quiet in that first half, bumping with Mbai. And the rebound pulled down by guess who? Romero Osby. He's got 5.
A lot of international flavor on this court tonight with Landrietti, Mbai, Harris, Pangos.
Mbai and 1.
Well, that time he finished strong at the rim, John. That first play of the second half, he babied it. But this time he took it right up there, took the contact, hangs in the air. Take a look now. He gets by Harris, and he's going to go right at Dower's body. Bang, hang, and finish.
Great body control for the Wyoming transfer.
I like that. Bang, hang, and finish.
Very nice. Get a copyright on that. Mbai, preseason Big 12 newcomer of the year. His sophomore year at Wyoming, he averaged 12 points and just under 6 rebounds. So if he can get into a groove, he should help.
Oh, backdoor cut, tried to get the lob.
And 1, Elias Harris.
See, that's a great move by Harris, but here's what I don't understand. Harris took, that time he ran Mbai over. Take a look at this now. Now let's see now. He spins baseline. You know, I'm not sure that's a foul on Mbai. But you know what? It's a smart, strong move by Elias Harris. He basically jumped into the defensive player and drew contact.
Mbai picks up the foul. It's his 3rd.
So far in the early second half, Mbai and Harris have gone toe-to-toe inside.
Cousins getting past Pangos. And Eddie with the board. Eddie picks up the loose ball, gets a piece of the paint, and Bell wide open. 8 for Gary Bell Jr.
Quietly, John. Gary Bell is an assassin, a quiet one. Great shooter, can finish inside. Think of all the minutes he and Pangos played last year as freshmen.
Dower had it knocked out of bounds by Osby. Gonzaga basketball. This 3 giving the Zags their biggest lead of the game.
There's the drive by Landrietti, the kick out. Gary Bell Jr. shot 48% from behind the arc a year ago, and Mark Few told us how valuable it was that he and Pangos were able to play all those minutes last year.
Both guys seem pretty unfazed playing that much as freshmen. Harris could hit that 41% from 3 last year.
Well, that's the kind of versatility we've talked about with Elias Harris so far to start this season. He's become an underrated player, John, where some people thought he was overrated after that great freshman year.
This is where Oklahoma needs to be a little bit careful. Shot no good there. And here's Eddie.
They're relying on a lot of jump shots right now.
Bell. Oh, Harris the follow. And just like that, it is an 18-point game.
Elias Harris. Take a look at this. 6'8", 240. Young man from Germany. He's been in the program 4 years. Nobody blocks out. That's bad news. But good news for Elias Harris. Dominating the glass.
Gonzaga leading this one by 18. 17 minutes to go. Feast Week presented by Lowe's. John Sciambi, Fran Fraschilla. The Zags is one of the top players of the West Coast Conference in Elias Harris, and he can beat you in so many ways.
No, John, one of the best players in the country, really, in my opinion, because they have so many different weapons. But this guy can hurt you, just like you said, inside and out. He can knock down the three, but really, where Elias Harris has really stepped up the last year is his work on the glass. He's a physical player, very athletic, can dominate the boards. Sports Center top 10 nominee right there. But I got to tell you, I talked to Mark Few during the summer, and he said he was overrated by these NBA scouts when he was a freshman, but now he's one of the most underrated good players in college basketball. We've seen the whole arsenal the last 2 nights.
Yep. I mean, he was a kid that was recruited to come and play and go to school. He was not someone that was brought over, thought to be a huge NBA prospect or anything like that. He was just a kid they saw in Germany they thought could play solid Division I college basketball and go get an education.
And they do a great job with international players.
And right there, Cousins able to hit. Yeah, Tommy Lloyd, Mark Few's assistants, the guy that really connects over on the international side. And you go through history, they've done a great job getting international players.
Well, they had terrific Australians back in the 90s. When you think of guys like Axel Dench and John Riley, and then you know, they got the Canadian connection. Roni Turiaf, look at that passing right there. Right now, I know it's Turkey. It's Thanksgiving weekend, and Oklahoma's getting carved up like a turkey. Tough shot.
Into the hands of Pangos.
Good look.
And Eddie is fouled by Hornbeak. Well, there is Tommy Lloyd, as we mentioned him, their international connection. Under 16 timeout. Zags leading. Hey, there's the hat from the Hollywood studios. Have a magical day is what they like to say around these parts. Coming to you from Disney World and having a great weekend of college basketball. The Old Spice Classic and a fun weekend so far. Gonzaga leading this one, our second semifinal. Feast Week presented by Lowe's. Zags on top by 17. John Sciambi and Fran Fraschilla. We were talking about the connections overseas, and or at least north of the border, and here's some of the guys that they've brought in and are on their roster right now.
Well, they're a unique program because they don't necessarily always recruit the top 50 player. They did get Austin Day a couple of years ago. Adam Morrison, a local kid from Spokane, turned into be a great player, but they've done a great job of recruiting unconventionally, you might say, and they've mined the international talent extremely well, and now they have a great reputation overseas.
Get out of the way, Ray Steins. We're trying to show Tommy Lloyd there. Healed up ahead, flips it up. And here's Harris. Man, 6'8", 240. And really under control.
I'm going to make a prediction to you, okay? Now, I don't know that he's a first-round pick. The problem with Elias Harris in terms of the NBA is he a 3-man? Is he a 4-man? He's undersized at that spot, but I'm going to make a prediction. His stock starts to rise again with NBA scouts, because in the second quarter, in the late third quarter of games, when you got to go to the second unit, you can use a guy like this with versatility. The size in the NBA is really in the starters and the sixth man, but a lot of guys in the league that are tweeners like Harris, and he's very multi-skilled.
Cameron Clark with the steal, 8 turnover on the Zags, who lead it by 17. There's Harris with a steal.
Little helium that time on the pass from Buddy Hield inside to Osby.
Harris wide open. Pangos going for the loose ball, tips it to Bell, weaving up, rejected.
Look at Pangos' hustle. That's 2 plays in a row. Oklahoma right now not getting those 50-50 balls. Great job by Kevin Pangos. Right now, a little continuity offense by Gonzaga. Side to side, pick and roll, handoffs.
Eddie is fouled. They get Clark on that one.
You talk about Kevin Pangos, you think of the long-range shooting, but just watch what he does on this possession. He keeps this first ball alive, and then when that ball's back out on this block shot right here, watch what he does. Saves it again. Little things that don't go unnoticed by the coaching staff when they break down the film tonight.
Eddie able to get the first. Pangos, a guy that does so much for him, able to distribute. There's Karnowski checking back in.
You know, in the 15 years of the renaissance of Gonzaga basketball, John, this is one of the deepest teams that they have. They have size. They have excellent guard play. They have shooting. They're much better defensively than they've been in the past because they put athletes out there to start the game.
I mean, look, they've had success every year. You get the sense Mark Few really likes his team.
Yeah. And speaking of that, knowing Mark Few the way we do, got a feeling he's not ever going to leave there. I'd be very surprised if he leaves Gonzaga anytime in the next 5 to 10 years.
He is, I think, a really good example of someone that understands don't mess with happy.
That's exactly right, as long as he's got his little fishing hole.
Hield able to hit. The freshman from the Bahamas buries it.
So right now for Oklahoma, you're going to try to climb back into the game, but it's also going to be a learning experience for some of the young guys, but Sooners have some veterans out there now. Look at this, you got 3 great ball handlers out there now, John.
What a great decision by Stockton there. Eddie right at the rim. And they get the block underneath. And that one charged to Osby, who's frustrated.
Let's take a look on this drive now as Eddie goes to the rim. Well, that's close. See what they're trying to do this year. No, I think that's a charge. See what they're doing. They're trying to go to the NBA style of calling the block charge. Once the offensive player is in the upward movement, you have to be set already in a legal guarding position. I think that time the defender was set. What they want the officials to do this year is referee the defender. Is he in legal guarding position before the offensive player starts that upward motion? Let's break it down, John. Take a look. Okay. I think Osby's set. What do you think? Think he's sliding?
I think he's moving.
Okay.
Osby has 3. He'll take a seat.
We haven't talked much about Guy Landrietti tonight, but you talk about his athleticism to start games on the defensive end, along with Gary Bell and Elias Harris. Tough shot right there, contested.
Pangos ripping down the rebound. Karnowski, nice move.
You know, he's just a puppy, but the guy people compare him to, if you want an NBA comp down the road a couple years, is Marc Gasol.
Karnowski on Fitzgerald, now double team.
See how he's trying to look weak side. Couldn't get it there. Right idea.
This is Grooms. Karnowski the rebound, Healed. Pretty aggressive, yeah.
Quick shooting right now. In fact, he dribbled right back into Grooms and his man when he went left.
Olynyk was looking for somebody to cut back door. Pangos launching.
But he's got Pangos. He knows he's got Pangos as the third option on that weak side.
Gonzaga by 20. Chance at an and one for the Sooners when we get back.
How about the big fella, John? Position, space, size, looks middle, turns opposite, jump hook. That's well done. The Polish rifle.
With you, Duke and VCU, the Blue Devils pulling away late.
Mason Plumlee will finish this play with a nice little dunk. Unselfish play by Cook here. Mason Plumlee looking like the ACC Player of the Year. He's been phenomenal so far earlier this season. Talk to me later, though, if VCU can knock off Duke in March.
NC State holding on to beat in-state rival UNC Asheville, but only by 2. Highlights coming up later.
Wow, NC State escaping against UNC Asheville. Our game here, all Gonzaga as they lead this one by 20. John Shambi, Fran Fraschilla at the Old Spice Classic. And there is Matt Santangelo, a guy that was really there at the beginning when the Zags started this amazing run.
15 years ago, they knocked off Clemson in the Top of the World Classic in Fairbanks, Alaska. Clemson was number 5 in the country. There's a little bit of the box score. Matty Santangelo had 19 that night. Dan Monson was the coach. They went to the NIT that year, John, and the following year, the Elite Eight.
Yeah, that was in fall of 97. 98, they go to the NIT, and then the following year to the NCAA tournament. But Matt Santangelo and company knocking off the 5th-ranked team in the nation, and then the run began.
Absolutely. Dan Monson for 2 years before he left to go to Minnesota, and the last 13, Mark Few, who's obviously done an incredible job and great humanitarian as well. He and his wife Marcy have raised $6 million for Coaches versus Cancer in the Spokane area. It's just a great basketball community, and they love the Zags. And a shout out to my man Jared Kiefer, who runs that event for Mark Few every summer. A lot of ESPN personalities up there. Do you know Neil Everett's from Spokane?
You know what? I did not, actually.
Yeah.
Kelly Olynyk with the putback. Since we're giving shout-outs, I want to say congratulations to Gonzaga's Mike Redmond, who's the new manager of the Florida Marlins. Obviously, a lot of stuff swirling around the Marlins, well, the trades they've made, but Redmond, a guy well deserving of a chance to manage in the majors. Gonzaga prep and Gonzaga. Karnowski shot blocked, and Healed has that knocked away. So getting a little sloppy right now.
Yeah, right now, Oklahoma looking for those 5- and 6-point plays. And instead of settling down and running offense, and Gonzaga with a huge size advantage with Olynyk and Karnowski.
Takeaway there. Mbai up ahead. Hield lost the handle. He looked away for just a moment. Right here, semifinal number 2. Winner takes on Davidson in the Old Spice Classic. Still to come on ESPNU. It'll be Drake and Rice, and that's 9:30 Eastern. Dave Fleming and Sean Farnham will have the call. After us, it'll be Creighton and Wisconsin. And then more from Anaheim, Georgia Tech, and Cal on ESPN2.
Well, that Creighton-Wisconsin game should be a really fun game.
Doug McDermott, one of the top players in the country. Getting to play for Dad.
Absolutely, playing well.
Clark, offensive foul, and Stockton able to step in and draw that one.
David Stockton's a very obviously heady guy. Cameron Clark just caught that ball, put it on the floor, and let's take a look. He's coming right into your screen. See, he's set before the offensive player starts to go airborne, and it's an easy call. They're trying to get away, the officials, from refereeing the restricted arc circle and get back to refereeing the defense, and that was a perfect example right there, in my opinion. See, the problem for teams all season long are going to be the ability of Gonzaga to handle the ball just like this.
That one blocked by Fitzgerald, especially when they go with that 3-guard attack. When they started to pull away against Clemson, it was with that lineup that had Harris and Olynyk, Harris and Olynyk, and then the 3 guards, Stockton, Bell, and Pangos.
How about that fadeaway jump shot?
23 the lead now for the Zags.
Little zone defense by Mark Few, changing it up. Oh, it's a very sloppy Oklahoma.
Stockton able to lay it in. Biggest lead of the game at 25 as we close in on the 9-minute mark.
Oklahoma has done a terrible job of handling the basketball tonight, John. They've been in a rush all night trying to make the home run play.
Hield can't hit. You know, it's funny you mentioned the home run. We'll mix in some baseball from time to time. What makes Gonzaga so tough to deal with? They can come back because they hit home runs, and when they get ahead, they're going to keep hitting 3-run homers because the offense is so good.
And the defense it's better than it's been because you got really athletic guys in 3 or 4 of those spots, especially to start the game. Guy Landrietti, Elias Harris can guard his position. Gary Bell, obviously a lockdown defender.
Hield at the rim, and that'll be a +1.
Now this young man has really struggled tonight, Buddy Hield. Young man out of the Bahamas. Went to high school in Wichita. He's got a boatload of family here. Get a glimpse of the ability. He had 17.5 against UTA last weekend. He's going to be an outstanding Big 12 player in time. But I thought the first 2 games here in Orlando, he's really been sped up and rushed.
I wonder about the family thing as well, wanting to put points up and in front of the family. He has seemed excited to try and score and shoot quickly.
All 3 of these freshman guards for Oklahoma are getting a great and valuable experience going up against Bell and Pangos and David Stockton tonight.
Pangos lost it for a second. And then Pledger trying to save it as he intercepted the pass, stepped on the baseline. Gonzaga basketball when we come back. Good hustle here by Stephen Pledger. Not quite able to save it. All Gonzaga. Good basketball.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Old Spice Champion. Believe in your smell. And in part by Miller High Life. Common sense in a bottle. And Pizza Hut's new overstuffed pizza. Pizza Hut. Make it great.
ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex at Florida's beautiful Walt Disney World Resort is your amateur basketball destination, offering multiple tournaments for athletes from Pee-wee to collegiate level. The complex also attracts NCAA coaches from top programs nationwide. To find out how your team can compete here, visit DisneyBasketball.com. John Shambi, Fran Fraschilla back here at the Old Spice Classic. All Gonzaga trying to win this tournament for the second time. Did so back in 2008. Beat Tennessee. What a great field that was.
Yep. Remember Georgetown played Maryland, which doesn't happen very often anymore.
That's right. Tell you the thing about these early season tournaments, and it happens in that one, Michigan State played, and they looked so bad. And remember, that was a team that got all the way to the Final Four, the final championship game, actually.
Yep. No, this time of year, you don't ever stay the same. You either get better or you get worse, and you use these opportunities to improve, and that's what Oklahoma's got to do right now. That's an NBA degree.
Wow. Deep from Pledger. He can bury him. 5 for Pledger.
Tell you what, Gonzaga, we talked about the size inside. They have absolutely dominated the glass tonight, 42-21. This is a little, we call this, I call it Lithuania. Continuity, pick and roll. Actually, David Blatt, the great Russian national team coach and former Princeton Tiger, came up with this little offense right here that the Zags have put in.
Harris just too much to handle. Pulls his way in. He's got 16.
You know, Osby and Embiid are fairly good-sized guys, but Harris makes them look small.
He's very skilled. Osby inside, and he'll shoot 2. And coming up, our 14th annual ACC Big Ten Challenge. NC State earlier tonight just escaping over NC Asheville. Michigan with a W over Kansas State. And coming up will be North Carolina and Indiana. So pair of good games.
You know, we've been talking about the international players on the Gonzaga roster, but Sunday night they'll play against a Davidson team that has a guy in Bob McKillop who really revolutionized international recruiting here in the States. And it started because he had a couple of Italian players at Long Island Lutheran High School. Remember Augusto Benelli, Marco Baldi?
I remember Marco
Baldi played for St. John's. And Bob is one of the premier clinicians in Europe. He's probably more well-known over there than, say, you know, a Bob Huggins or a Mike Montgomery. He's one of the well-known American coaches in Europe.
I went to his basketball camp when I was 13 years old. Long Island Lutheran basketball camp out there.
Right there, right off Northern Boulevard. That he sold you a few snow cones during the camp breaks. Concession stand was probably up and running.
Mangos being harassed by Cousins, able to save it, needs help. And a push on Cousins. Carl Hess on the call. 20-point game, 6:22 to go.
That's a freshman mistake. Now that's a cliche, but that's a call in high school when you're at Mount Vernon and you're beating people by 40 that they're not going to call. But Romero Osby went right over to the freshman and said, you can't do that. You've already got him boxed in the idiot corner. That's what I like to call this part of the court right here.
Where we broadcast.
Yeah, because you got the sideline and the midcourt line. Those are two defenders. There's no reason to foul them.
7 fouls, so Pangos front end to the 1-and-1.
Now watch this now. Come here. That's what he's saying. Come here. Listen to me. Relax. Just don't foul him when he's 50 feet away from the basket. They're in the bonus. That's what a good leader should do right there. Now, we've seen over 2 days that Lon Kruger's committed to these 3 freshman guards. And in spots, they've all been very good, but they've got to continue to mature. Good look.
By power dribble and puts it up and in. Landry Eddie wisely pulls it back out. Now finds Dower.
Pangos and Stockton are so proficient in pick and roll. They don't worry about their man, and they don't necessarily worry about the screener's man. They're looking all over the court. That just like that.
Well, the lob and then the tip right there. I'm sure whether he was passing or shooting there.
And he was caught in between, but you know what? Even if that ball softly went on the rim, someone was going to get a chance to tip it.
And they did. A 22-point game out of bounds. All right, so let's talk Gonzaga for a second. Obviously, around Thanksgiving, so difficult to tell what a team will look like come February. How good's this team? When we start to talk about teams in the top 8 or in that range, is this team capable of being in that mix?
You know, they are. I wish they had one more athletic guard. You know, big guard. They use Mike Hart, Dranginis a little bit. But they've got great size inside. They're a little undersized in the backcourt defensively. That hadn't seemed to be a big problem because I think Pangos and Bell can guard their positions. But I think they have a chance to be really, really good, John, because they're so versatile offensively.
So you're talking about like a 6'6" guy, 220 slasher type? Or
you know, you can't have everything, but they have a lot. I think they're a top 10 team. I don't know that they're gonna, to me, they're a Sweet 16, maybe an Elite 18.
Okay.
But we've said that before about Gonzaga. I just think this team has got a lot of depth, and they certainly have a lot of size inside. And their ball handling's excellent. They change defenses.
Well, we talked about that team in 08 that was able to beat Tennessee, a very good Tennessee team. And I think when we watched that game, thought, well, maybe this is the team. And I said that to Mark Few at shoot-around the other day, and he said, the thing people don't remember, Robert Sacre broke his foot really close after the fact of them winning the tournament, and that was a huge blow back in 08. All Zags in this one.
Todd Grisham, Andy Katz with a studio update. Michigan State held Oakland to 6 of 29 shooting, 0 for 10 in three-point range in the first half. They're pulling away now.
And this is the first game that Michigan State's going to have to play without Gary Harris, who's out for a couple weeks with a shoulder injury. Good news for Michigan. Tim Hardaway Jr., no concussion symptoms. He should be back for the NC State game next week.
Wolverines 5-0. Back down to Orlando.
All right, fellas, and a reminder, ESPN College Basketball available live anytime, anywhere. Your computer, your tablet, your smartphone. Check it out, watchespn.com, and with the Watch ESPN app.
I'll be watching that Kansas State-Michigan game sometime over the next couple of days. There's the field for next year, John.
That'll be the 8th Old Spice Classic. Butler participating as well. Purdue, St. Joe's will be here. Washington State. LSU and Memphis, so another good field.
Johnny Jones with a very solid recruiting class for LSU.
Under 4 to go in this one, and Gonzaga has been in control pretty much the entire way.
A little more zone, just working on some changing defenses.
And by off the mark.
Harris really takes a lot of pressure off John when he grabs that rebound and can bring it.
Mbai, and it's out of bounds. Oklahoma basketball. Gonzaga's turned it over 11 times in the game, but the story here, the Zags getting the offense going early and really have not looked back. 22-point advantage here. And Pledger knocks it down. The other thing, too, you made the point, this is a good defensive Gonzaga team, and that's the end of the court where people usually have questions about the Zags.
You can beat them off the dribble a little bit, but we saw, especially the first 20 minutes, how connected they were in terms of their defense, their help defense. Very sound.
Harris launching and hitting.
How about this guy? How about him quietly, too?
Gary Bell Jr. with the ice on his head.
I'm just impressed with how big and physical Harris has gotten over the course of his career. He'll be on the German national team for the next decade or so.
So it'll be Gonzaga and Davidson on Sunday. Oklahoma will play West Virginia. By the way, they're going to play West Virginia 3 times this year now. They'll play them on Sunday, and then January 5th in Norman, and then March 6th in Morgantown.
It's kind of interesting because West Virginia was supposed to go and play Kansas State and Charleston this year. It's a game we did last year in Wichita. They would have played 3 times.
Elias Harris out of the game, and what a game it's been for him.
Outstanding. Versatility, strength, size, his ability to pass the ball. Obviously last year knocked down 40% of his threes. He's continuing that this year. But just an all-around game, John.
Our Old Spice player of the game scored 16 of them in the second half, went 6 for 9 from the floor after the break. A number of subs in, including Drew Barham. Kardowski checks back in. This is Mike Hart. And number 13 for the Sooners has checked in.
I'm not going to say anything.
What do you mean you're not going to say anything? Let's see if they get him the ball.
Well,
there he is.
He's a ball mover.
Mr. Fraschilla, James Fraschilla. Healed launches. And James can't track it down. Look out. Now, I can remember coming to this tournament. You and I are broadcasting, and he's here with his video recorder, and he's 13 years old.
Well, I'm proud of him. He's a walk-on. He works hard every day in practice. And
Stockton not able to hit. And they go with the tie-up, and it belongs to Gonzaga.
You know, the one thing about walk-ons is those guys do a lot of dirty work in practice. And I always told my son, your job as a walk-on is you're there early, you stay late, you make sure other guys get shots. If somebody needs toothpaste at Walmart and they don't have a car, you drive them.
Come on.
No, you do the little things. Of course, he wants a coach.
So David Stockton taking a seat. He started as a walk-on.
Well, he did. And you know what? James has always looked up to him. He played against him in a high school tournament in Vegas about 4 years ago.
Barham can hit. Kardowski. Dranginis. Kardowski the board. Now this one all over. Gonzaga on their way to the championship game of the Old Spice Classic. And Rem Bakamus able to knock it down.
That's the
Gonzaga
beauty.
fans,
See that?
they love it.
That's Gonzaga's walk-on. He gets in the scores book.
So 8.6 left in this one. And a dominating performance from Mark Few's team.
Anytime the walk-on scores, it's a big moment because those players on Gonzaga know how hard those guys work every day.
Well, Dan Dockich was saying the other day, if you're a walk-on, shoot it. What are they going to do, bench it? So Gonzaga beats Oklahoma 72-47 the final. Elias Harris, an outstanding game. 18 points, and the championship is set. The Zags and the Wildcats. It'll come your way on Sunday, 7 Eastern on ESPN2. 72-47, our final. Up next, the Continental Tire Las Vegas Invitational. Creighton taking on Wisconsin. For Fran Frischel and our entire crew, this is John Shambi saying so long from the Old Spice Classic here at the HP Fieldhouse. Time now to send it back to the studio. Turn it over to Todd Grisham and Andy Katz.